Hey, it's Mack with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it is Wednesday. It's November 16th. This will be our chart lesson for the day. And again, it was just another real tight, like 5 point trading range today. So not a lot of room. There's a little more. There were a few more trades today, a few pretty decent ones. But again, there's just not much happening here. So we're not getting a lot of movement. But let me back out a little bit where we can see it a little better, and we'll go through the trades. Yep, I just can't get it any bigger than that. But and show this other. But early on we were trending down. We had a break, moved to a new low. By the time I came in, we were coming off this trend line again, a little double test. Really, your entry, there's a second entry short here, so really your entry is here. Notice the new low, and you pull back first entry, then there's a higher low. I would have liked this even better if we went higher here, but it's a lower high on a double top right there, and relatively bearish bar. So I like that one just to get a quick scalp, and you get just enough out of it, and then it reverses, of course. It comes back, and then now you got a double test of this area, and that resistance is still holding. Plus we turned down off of the EMA there. But the main reason I like this one is notice that high, pull back first entry, pull back. That's a failed second entry long. The trend is, the bias has been down, and we're really kind of going sideways here at this point. That really set an early part of the, notice all your highs here and all your lows down here. And so I like that one just to ride it back down. It does make a new low, and then it reverses. So two nice shorts right out of the gate there. And then we get a reversal here. The only reason this one is green and not blue is, let me notice we made a new low, and we move up. We get a first entry short. We go higher, and we get that second entry, which is what we're looking for on a reversal. But we don't get through the EMA. The EMA is still holding. So that one's a little bit questionable. It's still a failed second entry short. Normally I'd probably say skip this one, but notice how the support here is also, we double tested that level again too, so that's another reason. So I like that one. We push up and we get a breakout here. We pull back and we test that. And notice this is a double bottom, so you can really count that. Actually, you could count this as a double bottom here too. R and U low, it doesn't really matter. But this is a little double bottom here, and so we really have two legs up from there, and you pull back and test this trend line again. So you got to assume that we're still inside this channel, so you got to assume that we're headed to the next resistance area. Probably going to test the support area first, because notice when we broke through there, we never tested it. Prices generally come back pretty quickly and test these areas. And so I treated that as a test there. We pull back, we get a lower high here, and that's a really bearish bar. That one is very, very tempting, but the reason I don't like it is you got to go short right into the EMA when we also may get a retest of the high here. But when it pushes through the EMA and pulls back and fails and gives you that failed second entry long right there, and it actually went higher first, and when you see one do that and turn and immediately go out the other side, that's generally a trap. Just go short right there, and that's a quick, easy move. And of course, where does it bounce? Right down here at the support again. So we get another reversal pattern right here. It's a repeat pattern of this really right here, a little bigger, but notice the new low, first entry, second entry, but you got to go long right into the EMA. So I'm not crazy about it. It does still fit the pattern, and look how sideways we're going, a doji in there. I think you're better off to skip that one, but I'm going to go ahead and list it as green anyway. And then of course we push higher, pull back, push higher again. Notice this is a double bottom, so you got a new low there basically. So first entry short, second entry short, it fails right off the trend line. That's a trap. There is room to get out. Your high was actually up here at that point. I ended up moving mine, so you got plenty of room to get out before that high. And so I like that one. and we actually make a new high and then pull back and we push higher. You might have considered going short here with just that real small. It's a little failed break above a double top, and it's only 2 ticks. So it's real low risk if you wanted to go short there. So you might consider that one. It's definitely going to be green. It's a little bit aggressive, but there's some reasons to like that trade. Um, Plus you have one leg up, a correction, and a second leg up. Measure that first leg. There's your second. You can see that's basically a perfect measured move right there. And so that's another reason I like that one. Again, I still think it's a little aggressive. We're a good bit away from the EMA too. So, and then we pull back and we go, this is actually a repeat pattern of this right here almost. And the reason I don't like this one is this was you're finding some resistance right there, and then you found the support. So that's the reason I moved my line here, and that's right into that line. It's right into the EMA. It makes it a little bit questionable. It is the first. We don't have a close outside this trend line yet either, although we do have an overshoot, so there's a good chance. But when it pushes on through the EMA and pulls back, gives you that reversal pattern with a failed second entry short, and it finds resistance right off that line, I like going short right there. That's your pattern you're looking for. And then we suddenly get 2 legs back up and test this high again, and notice that there's 2 legs right here. There's one leg, a correction, second leg, and then it goes higher. That's when you get a sure 2 legs between a leg, you're probably going to get one more leg and then a pullback. It's going to be a 2-legged move, and generally it's going to be the middle of the pattern. And if so, I would measure this, assuming that this is the middle of the pattern, and look for a measured move. And look at there, we got 1 extra tick out of that one. So that would have been my target if I entered here. Now let me explain this. This is really your signal bar, but it's not. It's too bullish to go short there. So, but you get this next one, and it's really bearish. So I would let it break low that one, and then I would put my a limit order where I would have originally put my sell stop 1 tick below this signal bar, and you would have got filled on that, and then your stop has to go at the high here. So I hope that makes sense. 99% of the time you want to enter on a stop 1 tick above or below your signal bar, depending on entry direction. But there are these cases where you can use limit orders, and people ask me that question from time to time. You don't want to really use limit orders until you're a little more advanced, but most of the time you want to enter on a stop, and you got to wait on the trigger no matter what. So the trigger is the break above or below the signal bar. And so if it doesn't trigger, you can't be guessing and trying to get a better entry and that kind of thing. So I have people do that. You'll never get a break below your signal bar here, and it'll bounce off of it a few times and back up, and they'll go ahead and enter, and then it never breaks below and it reverses on them. So don't do that. But anyway, you got 1 leg down, 2-leg correction. Now you're working on your next leg down. And this was quick, easy move down. And then you get another. Notice what's happened. First entry long, pull back second entry long. It's a double test of the EMA there, multiple tests of the midline. Just go short there. And normally, if this was just a second, it is a second entry short, but it's not a very good signal bar. But because it's a long trap, probably going to trap people alongside, and probably because we're headed here, I'm okay with entering on that one. And I probably would have exited right here. I don't think I would have hung on for this last push down, but it's there all the same. And then now we got a little failed break lower. Notice how we had all that support across here. And we get that failed. Look how bullish that bar is. Still a little ways away from the EMA. We do have a close outside here and 2 measured legs down. So I like entering there. It's a little, you still got to call it aggressive because you're almost always better off to wait on a higher low. but that one's real close to being blue. But again, you're better off to always wait on the higher low, which comes here. And so you enter on that one, and you don't even get a measured leg up. It turns back down real quick, but you get just enough out of it to get your scalp. And that's why we go for 4 ticks, because you wouldn't have got one more tick out of this other than what you needed to get out. And then we get 2 legs back again, and so this is almost a repeat pattern here. It's basically, look how this pattern looks almost exactly like this one. Just go long there on that one. Plus it's a second entry long. Counting off that high, this made a little higher high. Lots of reasons to like that one. And it's a big bullish bar, reversal bar. And then you get your reversal pattern here again. Notice what happens. You get a higher low here, but it's right into the midline, and you got to be careful going long into that. But you get your first entry short, your second entry short, and then this one actually goes out the low side and reverses and goes higher. It looks like another trap. Go long right there. It's like it's really like a little breakout pullback, but you get the same thing here again. So, but then you confirm your trend line here. The only reason I didn't like this one is because it closes right on the line, but it comes back again. And when you test a line or an area that often, you're probably going higher, and we're overdue to head back to the upper side. So I like entering here, and then that got you into the 2 o'clock hour. I wouldn't enter right here above that one. You figure we're probably headed to here, but it doesn't mean that you're not going to get a break of the trend line first, and so you may get stopped out there before it goes higher. And so I'm not crazy about that one. So yeah, there were a few more entries today. Still not a lot of entries. We're still range bound. Prices are just still consolidating, really. Let me back out, but you can see the kind of day we had today. You can see how tight that range is right there. It's only 5 points or so. If you go from the high to the low, it's probably 7 or 8 points, but the majority of the day you're within the 5-point range, and not much happening there. So, but we did get quite a few more trades today than we've had in the last couple of days. So, but anyway, not much else I can say about today. So it's a range day. Just remember your midlines. You're not going to get as many good trades off your midline. You got to be careful with those. You need other reasons a lot of times to enter those. Really, your sure things are always going to be your bounces off the low, or your failed breaks lower, or your bounces off the highs and your failed breaks higher. Failed break higher. Did I say that right? That doesn't sound right. Failed breaks higher. Failed break hires. Anyway, that's your chuckle for the day from me. So anyway, if failed break higher and it fails, that's usually where you want to go short. So I'm not sure what the correct grammar is on that, to be honest. So it didn't sound right either way. Maybe neither one of them's right. So anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. We'll be back again to do it tomorrow, and tomorrow will be Thursday. That'll wrap our week up. But I'm out here for today. This is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.